There you go.
Well,
There's one.
well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So tell me who you are and all that fun jazz.
Oh, wait, are we starting?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to pound some fries. Okay. So, who we are and who are you?
I'm Ben. I play the bass and sing vocals for the band Painted Light.
And then I'm Jake Hedke, and I play guitar and ukulele and sing for Painted Light. So we both kind of basically whoever needs to sing at one point in time will sing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes Ben will come up with the vocal part. Sometimes I will, and it just starts happening.
How did you get started? Like, how did you start your project?
Oh,
well, we actually met of all places at work. We worked at the same company. Was it 8 years now? 8 years ago?
Yeah.
And we were kind of like cubicle mates, and we started talking about different types of music because he and I are both like, we have vast musical backgrounds and different influences. So we decided to, kind of share that. And he's said, well, I'm in a band. I'm like, cool. And then I said, I could play bass, right? And then they needed a bass player. And they were like, no way. So
yeah. So the intro to that intro is I was in a band, and then I started a solo project, which is what Painted Light was at the beginning. And I was like, man, I want to have a full band together. We had met a drummer, or I had met a drummer that I was playing with, and me and Ben would always share different songs every day at work. And he never told me he played. This went on for almost a year, and I had been looking for a bassist for like a year or two. And then he was like, I play. And I was like, well, come over. And he came over to practice. He didn't even ask us what any of the keys of the songs were in. He didn't ask us what any of the time signatures were in. He just immediately wrote like the best bass parts you could possibly think about. And me and our drummer at the time were both just like looking at each other like, are you seeing this? What's going on? And we were just like, we've known this guy for like a year and had no idea what was even gonna happen whenever he came over to jam. And the rest is just like it fit like the glove. It was awesome.
That's good.
Yeah.
So did you guys write music together though?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we for sure did. So if you've heard the album Comfort in the Consistency on Spotify and stuff, that's what that was. That was us just thinking of ideas and being like, hey, is this a good idea or does this suck? That's how we just talked about everything. Like,
or we'll do a song and go, well, what if we just do this instead or do this? That's kind of how we threw ideas at each other, and it just clicked. It all worked.
Yeah. And we originally, yeah. You were saying?
I said that's cool.
Yeah. So we basically originally started writing. Sometimes we would just try and write the craziest parts possible just because we could, like math rock stuff. And then as we started playing more, touring, then we started trying to write songs that were more of like, what's a song that's really going to get the crowd going? And that kind of directed our path towards songs that people are going to be able to get into and sing along to, instead of just songs that people are like scratching their heads to the whole time.
Yeah. Do you guys know what you guys are? Like, are you an indie band or a rock?
Well, we've been told we're kind of like Midwest emo, I guess is the best way to describe it, but kind of math rock. I like to think that it's math rock, but it's more palatable for, the regular folk that doesn't get into math rock. They'll still like it. So it's one of those, type of things. Before I played in a lot of bands in my past, and I never played in a math rock type band before. But I just knew that, man, I really can contribute to whatever they're doing. And then it just worked, and it kind of melded into our own sort of thing.
Yeah, like Ben actually knows up here what we're playing. So before Ben got in the band, it was just kind of all this crazy stuff. And it was just what came into my head, what came into our old drummer's head, and we would just do it. We had no idea what was going on music-wise. And then we'd ask Ben, we'd be like, hey, what is this? Like, what key is this? And we'd be like, we don't know what time signature this is in, but we're just going to do it. And then and sometimes the way that concludes is Ben looks at me and goes, no. So yeah, sometimes he's just like, you're not doing that. Like, make it something that anyone else in the world can grab a hold of.
Right.
Do you guys have a favorite song that you wrote?
We like all of them, really. Home has always been a really good one. The video's on YouTube if you guys want to check it out. It's a great video. A lot of good feedback on that. I think the orchestration's really good. We had the ability to, branch out. We had Leon Carlo, who is now playing violin with the Polyphonic Spree, do violins on it. And we also, there's chimes in the studio, and I thought in my head this would be great to use, so I used that at the end of it. And it was a lot of fun to record, and it's still a lot of fun to listen to this day. So I really do enjoy that song a lot.
Yeah, and then for my favorite song. Oh wait, you're saying we kind of have a little lag here. So I'm sorry.
Oh, is there a story behind Home?
Yeah, so Home was originally written for my first child, so my son Joseph. I just wanted to write a song for him, and it piggybacked onto the end of our song Tune. So it's in the same tuning. It sounds a little bit similar as far as like the actual openness of the chords that are in there. But it's almost like the rock out version of Tomb. Tomb rocks out too, but Home is like the continuation of it.
It's like a part 1 and part 2 sort of thing, which I should have mentioned Home as well, or Tomb as well, because that's also a great song. Put those two together. That's
when he joined. I showed him the song Tomb, and he was like, "This song has legs." Yeah. I remember he said that, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Do something. Yeah.
So do you guys have what you want to say?
Oh, I wanted to say, so I guess that's Ben's favorite song. My favorite song doesn't actually have lyrics because I'm always like a music first guy, and then lyrics second. But my favorite song that I kind of always go back to is the first song from our album Comfort in the Consistency, and it's called Storms Over Light. And I just love it because it starts out small and then it just absolutely blasts you away. And so that's my favorite, like when you can have the huge dynamic shifts. So that's my favorite song. There's no lyrics to it. I wrote it when my son was like 6 months old, crawling around on the floor, and he was actually like cooing like a baby, like, ah. And I kind of was just writing a soft little part to it. And then, of course, you bring it into the band, and then the band's like, here's what we can do with that. Instead of just a tiny whatever, we made the explosion.
And we play this song usually as the first song in each of our sets whenever we play, because it just has like, it starts kind of soft and then it just crescendos into something really powerful. And that gets a lot of people's attention too, because we're like, whoa, what's going on? But yeah, that, like I said, each song that we do has its own personality and its own style, which is why I love pretty much any other song. It's hard to name a favorite when you have so many that you just love. So
That's how I feel about
Do you
French
guys
fries.
do you guys record at home or go to a studio?
You take this one?
we tried the home process before. I tried to have a little studio in the house here, and I was trying to mess with Pro Tools, which I have no clue what I was doing. So half of it, pretty much all three of us were hunched over a computer, banging our heads against the desk. So we decided, it's probably best to go into a studio to have actual people know what they're doing to record. So we did that, and we recorded at Elmwood Studios in Dallas for comfort and consistency. And a friend of ours, Jordan, who is in the band called Bad Lives, which is an awesome band too. But he is like an encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to Pro Tools and knowing what to do with recording. So our new album that we're working on, which has now been done, but it's in the mastering and mixing phases right now. But we used him this time for this new album.
Yeah. Bad Lives is this band that kind of reminds me of Block Party, Two Door Cinema Club, and Green Day. Almost like a Killer's sound, but a decent amount more going on too. We took them on the road with us to the Furnace Fest after party last year, which was really cool. They're whenever anyone gets a hold of them that can properly market them, they're going to absolutely explode. I like Painted Light. We have fun in it, but I think Bad Lives is going to absolutely explode.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy there that needs to be seen. So yeah, feel free to check them out too, because that's a great band to be listening to.
Oh yeah, and good people too.
And also Islands of Pear as well. We have to mention that as well. Islands of Pear, they're good buds of ours out of Houston and Austin, and they also bring it at every show. So
yeah, they rock. They went on the regional tour with us. Well, national, regional. So they went all over the whole entire country with us, and every night that they opened our show, we were like, "Oh, we get to see them for free tonight again."
Yeah, we're actually kind of fans, just kind of checking it out every night. We enjoyed each set that they did. So, and they would in turn check us out and enjoy our sets too. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, a whole lot.
Do you guys have a favorite venue you like to go to when you're in different cities?
That we've played or that we've attended? Because I have two in mind.
I mean, the tour last year. Yeah, the tour. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I said go for it.
Well, the tour last year, we had so many different venues to choose from. There was some that we didn't like, but for sure, we enjoyed. What was that place in Peoria? The Old Mill. We played outside.
Oh wow!
At a loading dock of almost an abandoned warehouse, but it was actually a really cool scene. That was great. I mean, we didn't get a big turnout in Chicago, but we played right across from Wrigley Field, and that was a great venue.
Yeah.
Had a great time in Chicago while we were there, although we were kind of all getting kind of sick as a dog as far as getting summer colds. Not COVID.
We thought we had COVID. We checked it and we
all tested.
didn't.
We were good. But yeah, there's that. Plus, there's certain, it all depends because each venue has its own flavor. And so Valhalla in Austin, we've played there a few times.
That would be my favorite.
Yeah, because that was
Painted Light shows.
We played
Valhalla.
We played in Savannah. Was it Savannah or was it
Savannah, Georgia, on Tybee Island it was just a crazy show.
It was crazy. I mean, we didn't expect the turnout that we did. And then, they were moshing to our stuff and it was a lot of fun. It was highly energetic.
It was I think it was called Island Sports Bar. Like the most dive bar you could possibly get.
Yeah.
And it was an absolute blast. It was great in Savannah, Georgia. As far as favorite venue of all time, for me, we haven't played there. I asked if we could. like a month ago, but I guess we weren't a big enough band to play there. It's called Red Rocks in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, whoa.
That's my favorite venue of all time. I don't know. Maybe we'll get there later this year or next year, but that would be a blast.
I would love
That'd
to
be
play
great.
Red Rocks. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Do you know what we're talking about up there in Denver? Like in the mountains?
Oh yeah. That open,
Yeah, it's like
open venue.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was amazing. Got to see Say Anything and the Front Bottoms and Kevin Devine there for my wife's birthday a little bit ago. That was insane. Totally insane.
That's awesome.
Well, that must have been a really cool venue.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, Red Rocks is definitely the place to go. I mean, even the big bands like U2 have played there, and tons of bands. That's like the place to play. So yeah, I agree with him. That would be an awesome venue if we could do it.
Oh yeah.
So, what do you call yourself? Is this like you're an indie band? Like, are you like independent, or do you have a label behind you?
Well, that's an interesting topic. So we're an indie band that has, well, I guess, Ben, stand up and show
Yeah.
them up. So
I'm
our
with
first record
Friend Club
was
Records.
out, on Friend Club Records out of Buffalo, New York. They're really cool. If you like a lot of punk rock stuff's on there. It reminds us a lot of Tooth and Nail Records from like the 90s. So just like really underground, really cool stuff. Where almost all the bands are just really, really, really good musically. So whereas some labels you listen to, it's like some bands you like, some bands you don't. Friend Club Records is really good at being meticulous about whatever bands are on the label. So like when a new announcement comes with a new band, we'll click on it and we'll be like, I've never heard of these guys. They're brand new. And a lot of times we'll respond back like to the label Facebook chat that we have going. And we'll be like, who in the world are these guys? And like, where did you do this record? And these are all these super good musicians that no one's heard of yet, or maybe they were in bands like 5 or 10 years ago that were really huge. And now they're starting a new project. And we just happened to find them on the Facebook group, the Furnace Fest page, which is like a big punk rock, hardcore emo festival in Alabama. And we just asked if there was anyone out there who made t-shirts and vinyl, because we were going to do the record independently on our own. And then someone from the label heard our stuff and they were like, you're not doing this on your own. They're like, we're going to do this record with you. And we were like, what? It was really cool. Yeah.
That
so now,
sounds really cool.
Yeah, they're great. Check them out. Friend Club Records.
And to bring it back around, the song Home was one of the first songs that he heard. And that's basically the song that got us signed.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. Very fun. How it worked is we got a direct message, or I did. And they were like, hey, I saw your post. And I was like, oh, cool. Do you make t-shirts? And they were like, no, we run a record label.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Is it hard to find before you doing that? Was it hard to find a record label that you wanted?
Yeah, because it's either A, you've got to have 1 million followers already, which at that point it's kind of like, what's the point of a label? Or B, all the super small labels, a lot of times, they might not give you the best deal, or the bigger ones wouldn't give you the best deal. Friend Club Records was just really open. They were really honest, and they were really fair from the very beginning, which is not common for record labels. So we opened up the meeting saying that we're probably not going to do anything. And we ended the meeting going, we didn't know you existed. We thought all labels were the same. And then we thought this is a great spot. So yeah, it was really cool. Really amazing chat and opportunity.
Where do you see yourself like where would you want to go for the next tour if you had the
Uh,
chance to?
I guess you take this, and then I'll kind of go over like where logistically it might go. But where would you want to go? If you
Well,
could go anywhere.
the weird thing is lately I've been kind of I was flipping through channels and I saw a Japanese, the English speaking Japanese channel, and
Oh, yeah.
I was really amazed about Japan and the culture and so forth. I would love to, and a long time ago, Jake used to teach in Japan, teach English, in Japan.
Yeah, that's a blast.
And I'm thinking, and you mentioned that if we were there, we'd be like instant rock stars,
Yeah.
So I think the culture there would really embrace this. I would love to be able to do a number of shows in Japan, all around Japan, if I could, because I think that'd be a beautiful place to play, and as well as the people there. You've been telling me they're really amazing people. They really enjoy the independent music scene, so I think that would be a great place to dive into.
Yeah, that would rock. Like when I was there and I taught English, I played one solo show with an acoustic guitar, and just being someone from overseas, I showed up to the show. I didn't even know what was going on. Turns out the concert had been advertised all over the radio, and the venue was packed. It was awesome. It's just, there's that saying, "You're big in Japan." It's because it happens. It's pretty cool. So it would be fun. There's a lot of Midwest emo and math rock bands that play there and have a lot of success and just have a great time just because it's a fun culture.
But where would you like? Where do you see
Yeah, that
this
sounds fun.
in a few years?
Yeah, that would be fun. Oh, so I mean, that actually would line up directly with where the region that we haven't done yet, which I feel like we'd be received really well on the West Coast. So our other tour was, if you cut the United States in half, we went all the way up it, and then we went kind of east towards Tennessee, and then down in the South and did like Georgia and Alabama.
Tennessee.
Yeah, that route. So we haven't done the West Coast yet, and a lot of people from the West Coast have just been saying, like, come play here, over and over and over again. So it seems like we'd be received really well there automatically. There's some other bands out there too that we could tour with, and it would be a lot of fun. And I guess we could finish the West Coast leg, and then we could hop on a plane, depending on how much time our wives and families give us. And then we could go
very west to Japan.
To the far west. Yeah.
So west that it's east.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Have you ever came to the Midwest?
Oh yeah. So we played. What did we do? We kind of went right up the gut.
We went up. We played Missouri. We played Kansas. We played. We didn't play Indiana, but we played Chicago, and we played Peoria, and what was the other one?
And Bloomington. So we played 3 shows in Illinois, which Illinois was great.
It was a lot of fun.
For our type of music. Just a lot of people wanted to hear new music. They were interested in seeing a brand new band as opposed to like some huge band, which, Paint the Light's really huge. I'm kidding. We're coming up, right? So that was really fun. Great experience getting out there. And then we went over to like Tennessee, like we said. We played in Kentucky. The Kentucky show was actually great. So I guess it was a lot of Midwest and then Southeast. And where are you at again? You're in Idaho?
No, I'm in
Delaware?
Kansas City.
Kansas City?
Okay, yeah.
No, I used to.
We played in Lawrence,
yeah.
and
I used to be in Delaware, but I'm not in Delaware anymore. But.
Did I hear you talking about a radio show that you're on over in Delaware or something like that?
Well, yeah,
I mixed up Delaware and Idaho.
Yeah.
That's
because
really
you know those two, you can mix up easily.
I can't.
But yeah, I'm on the radio in the summer for the at the university.
Oh, right on.
But because I used to go to school in Delaware, and then I kind of said I'm done with it, so I'm kind of just moved back to Kansas City because that's
Yeah.
where my family is.
Yeah, Ben was saying we played Lawrence, and Lawrence was actually a really cool show too. Remember what venue it was?
No, it was like a old bar that was not far from
From KU.
Yeah,
We
it was
got-
not far from there.
We got to go eat over by KU, and then we went and played a show. And I remember because we ate a bunch of Cajun food, and then we tried
in the middle
to
of Kansas.
play a show after
It actually was
getting
pretty good.
stuffed on Cajun food, which was an interesting experience.
It was. But that was a good show.
Did you
too.
guys?
And
Did you guys go to the Wheel when you were in Lawrence?
was it the Wheel?
I don't know.
It's the bar. It's a bar. It's a popular
Oh.
bar in Lawrence. In Lawrence.
I don't think
I remember
so.
it had a hams
Or-
neon sign on it, and it was
Or at
not
the
far from
garage.
not far from the river or something like that. I think it was.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I saw the wheel on our GPS, I think, and then we ended up trying to find Cajun food in Kansas for some reason.
See if I could
So
find
here's another question. Who would you want to play with that is dead or alive?
Ooh, how about you? You go on this one. Who would you want to play that's dead or alive?
I think it'd be a cool trip to play with Pink Floyd. I mean, that would have been a great band to really. Plus, the audience is instant audience. but yeah, I always thought Pink Floyd would be a great band to be latched onto. Recent acts. I mean, you've got more of a
Well,
pulse.
who do you like more, Pink or Floyd? If you had to pick one of the guys.
I like them both. I'm partial to Pink, but yeah.
Floyd's a nice guy too.
Yeah, I hear Floyd's good. He's a barber, but something that.
Yeah. So that's
I
Ben's
guess-
always got like
I
the
guess
cool old school stuff.
I guess you
And,
can
I
get your
mean,
haircut
yeah.
if you needed to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And prog rock bands back in the day, like Genesis. I mean, a lot of people don't know that Genesis, was one of the first math rock type bands that were out there. But if you listen to the old stuff, they were really kicking it. So that would be, also a great band that I would have been loved to play with or played part of.
For me, who would it be? There's so many great bands, and over the last year of Painted Light really getting out there, it's been amazing to get to know like a lot of other bands, even bands that like we grew up loving and like listening to. I guess Tiny Moving Parts is a band that I really love a lot. They're a math rock band from Minnesota. It'd be really cool to play with them. Or this band, Origami Angel. I don't know where they're from, but it might be San Francisco Bay Area. Both those bands have just like super crazy guitar riffs, but then they also have like pretty good vocals at the same time too. So it's got crazy instrumentation, but also good lyrics and stuff. And it's just, I don't know, it's really, really well thought out, and I love it a lot.
Terramellos would have been a good one to be like in that scene with too, because they bring it too. I mean, I love that album. Trash Generator is one of my favorite albums.
Yeah.
So,
and then if we go a little bit further back for like the bands that grew up listening to, just absolutely love, you've got like Say Anything, May, MXPX, Watashi Wa, who was actually a band we played with last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been really cool. Like all the band's reception of Painted Light. Just people that we used to listen to have been like, hey, we love your band. And we're like, wow, you love our band. We love your band. it's almost like we could be like, well, we're done. Like our
Our
favorite
workers.
artists are into us, so cool. But we can't stop there. Got to keep rocking.
So how
in
did you
Lawrence,
guys come up with the?
just to double back
Oh.
in Lawrence, Kansas, we played at the Caw Valley Public House. That's where we were.
Oh,
And we also played barley corns in Wichita.
It was pretty
I
rad.
bet
What
that
were you-
was fun.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh, what was that say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what were you saying, Daniel?
I said, now I forgot what I was going to say.
Whenever you remember, just jump in because it seems like our connection's like
okay.
a little laggy, so you just got to cut us off.
Oh, I think I said, how did you come up with Painted Lights?
Well, it took a long time. So our band was originally called Man in the Raw, like raw vegetables,
Like
raw
sugar
fruit.
in the raw, but it was man in the raw sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was meant to be like emotionally raw. And then when we got into it and we were trying to do real stuff and we had talked to different industry people, they were like, your band's cool, but your name sucks. And so I don't know. So because some people were like, oh, like Raw, like WWF wrestling, and we're like, that's not the idea that we had. And then other people were like, Man in the Raw, like man with like naked man, and we're like, nah, that's also not the idea we're going for. And so yeah, like some of our friends would come to our shows, and they'd be like, why are you guys wearing pants? And we'd be like, oh man, wrong band name. and that's how Painted Light came out. So we just started throwing tons of ideas out. We talked to Spotify and all those companies, and we were like, hey, are we going to lose all the plays we've like gotten over the last however many years Man in the Raw was going? And we were told that they would just be wiped out, and we were like, well, who cares? We need to do this to move forward further in the industry. So we did it, and now we're Painted Light. And now when we say our name from stage, people don't laugh. So that's a good thing.
Well, I laugh sometimes, but
Can't please them all.
yeah.
Was
we
it
kinda like
hard
the
changing that your?
Not really, because the
Was it
concept
hard
is still
change?
there. Yeah, because I like to think of it that we paint a picture as well, and we like to bring light to the world. So, yeah, with our rawness, I guess you'd say. But
Raw light.
yeah, raw light. Yeah, but we, I think the name actually fits us pretty well, and very well received, by everybody.
And we've had the idea at one point or another, but it seems like we keep forgetting, or I keep forgetting, to try and have an artist at every show. Like if someone could paint on stage while we're doing stuff, that would be awesome. And I was actually going to do it and like reach out to the art department for the universities in every city that we play in. And I was just going to ask them to send one of their painters that would be into doing that. So that would actually be cool. So keep your eye out for that, because maybe we'll become known for that at every show. I don't know. Maybe we will.
I mean, they
happened
have
yet.
them for weddings.
That's
They have
true.
them
That's
for
true.
weddings.
Right.
So,
We did try one. We played emo night in Dallas, like the punk rock, whatever, emo music night. And our friend Jordan, who is in Bad Lives, that band where we did the studio record with, the new one that's coming out, he was going to paint for us, but he actually tested positive for COVID the morning of the show.
Yeah.
So that was going to start it, and then COVID happened.
Mhm.
So hopefully sometime in the future. No more COVID.
do you guys have any new shows? Do you guys have any new shows coming up?
Yeah.
We do.
Chico?
Bacon Fest. It's where's it in Bedford? Or
It's Haltom City,
Haltom City.
which is
City.
basically Fort Worth.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the middle, in between Dallas Fort Worth sort of thing. But it's going to be a big festival. I think we're in the middle of the day when we play.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a lot of fun. It's this Saturday. So.
Yeah. Come early because we play at 1:30, I think. Yeah, so get there when it starts because I guess we're not the first band, but we are the first band to open up the main stage. So get there early, come go crazy. We're excited about it.
Are you guys gonna eat some bacon?
That's the
we said that bacon needs to be involved. So I'm hoping. I was like, I've been told that there's going to be bacon. So we are looking forward to having a bacon strip in our mouths as we sing, and maybe use it as a guitar pick. That'd be pretty awesome too. So
it's
extra crispy, of course, but yeah.
It's called Bacon Fest because there's this guy that goes to shows like all over the country, and he dresses up as a bacon strip, and he moshes in the pits, and so he's known as moshing bacon.
Yeah,
and so that's why it's called Bacon Fest. And it's also hosted by this 8-year-old or 7-year-old kid. And he also goes to festivals all over and gets in the mosh pit. And he's known as the Little Mosh Kid. So it's basically a festival run by both those two guys. They decided to put it together. It's their first year doing it. We're pretty excited. It looks like it's just going to be a blast.
Yeah.
Beyond that. Oh, sorry, you're saying?
I said, does your kids like music too?
Yeah. So my kids will be there, and they're all young, so they'll probably mosh with the mosh kid. And then Ben, his kids are older.
Yeah, they're all grown. If they like it, they'll never tell me, but that's how it is. I hope they like it.
I mean, if they like the music, I guess they'll share it with their friends, I guess.
Oh yeah. Fingers crossed. Anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Beyond that one, we have a show in Deep Ellum, Texas, which is like the arts district of Dallas, and that is in September at some point. So go to the festival, and then go to Deep Ellum. If you like it, here's some more.
But in the meantime, we're also, getting together every now and then just to hang out and work on new material too. We have a couple things that are already in the works that we were like, wow, that really sounded good. So, and it's still that new one that we're doing it's stuck in my head. I keep thinking about it. So yeah, we're gonna hash out some new material and hopefully get that out to you guys, sometime next year.
Yeah, so we have a new EP coming out hopefully at the end of this year, but we'll also have another EP written, probably by the time that one comes out. So it'll be fun.
That's cool. Do you is there anybody else that play with you, behind, in your band?
Well, our drummer Andrew was with us for about 8 years, but he has family up in Evansville that was having some health issues, so he moved up there. We love him, we miss him, but there is, some sort of, for some reason, there's radio silence, so we haven't really heard from him. So we hope he's doing okay. We call him every so often, especially when we're about to do a show, and say, hey, we miss you and hope you're doing good. So yeah, Andrew, if you're listening, we love you and we miss you.
Yeah.
We do have a couple drummers that we kind of alternate back and forth. We don't have anything quite permanent yet, but in fact, on our show, we're going to be just the two of us for Bacon Fest this time. But yeah, once we have a drummer locked and loaded, and we have one kind of in the works, but he's got a lot of engagements that he's doing, and we have a guy who's also a beast, but he's a touring musician. So he does this for a living, where he actually plays for bands, and so he's almost impossible to get a hold of.
So
But he's on the new album, so once that comes out, you'll get to hear his brilliance because he is a beast, and it's a lot of fun.
the long and short end of it is, Painted Light actually has 2 drummers.
Yeah.
So, but our 2 drummers are both touring. So both of them get booked for shows all the time. But both of them love Painted Light. Like our more permanent drummer, Brian Radcliffe. We used to play in a band together like 10 years ago called Light and Ladder. That was a lot of fun. And then Kyle Garrison is our second drummer, and he's the drummer who played on the new EP. Both of them are absolutely phenomenal.
Yes.
So it kind of just, we have a group chat with all of us because we're all friends and no one's like egotistical at all in Painted Light. So it's like, well, whatever works. So we'll be like, hey guys, are you free this date? And they're like, no, I'm in, I'm in Nevada that day. And the other guy will be like, yeah, I'm here. It's just, it's fun. And what's also fun about that is like we played a show in Austin with Kyle, and Kyle rolled in from tour. So he had a day off on tour with his country band that he was playing in. And then he drove in from his country band's tour an hour away to play our show with us in Austin, play a crazy math rock show, and then go back on tour. So it's honestly, I think it's just the way it is. Like when you've got, math rock bands, just because it's honestly, it's hard to play the music. So anyone that's a drummer who can play the songs is typically like an absolute ace, and they're typically sought after, and they play in like 4 or 5 different bands, which is great. Yeah, we love it. We're not drummers, so we're not as hot commodities.
No.
We're just the lowly guitarists and vocalists and bassists.
Yeah. We're a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
Well, I bet you guys are good at writing the song, though.
That's true.
We hold our own when we need to. Yeah. At least I hope so. Be sure to listen for yourself. Let us know and keep correspondence with us. Let us know what you think.
Oh yeah. Did you get a chance to check out the song Home yet?
Yeah. Is that the one you sent me, or is that the recent
that's the
one?
Right.
Yeah, I did. It's really good.
Thanks so much, man. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I played it on my show. So
Oh, you did?
One of the yeah.
Oh, right on.
Thanks so
All
much.
right. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So there might be the next. I think it played today or it plays next week.
Oh,
and that's the last show of the.
I think it
you
might
can
have
still
played
listen
today because we got a bunch of followers randomly today. I was like, "What's going on? Something cool is going on."
But yeah, that's the one I was
but
talking
you
about.
can-
Where that's the one I was talking about. Where at the end I was playing the chimes on it, and we had Leon Carlo that was in Polyphonic Spree playing the violin for us and stuff. That's why we take a lot of pride in that song. So that's a really good song.
You can also listen to like just all the episodes just on iTunes podcast, and then just look up Two Guys in a Sound System, and then you can.
Oh, right on.
And there's
Excellent.
tons of episodes up there that I've
That's
done
awesome.
in the past.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
We'll definitely check it out. Yeah.
So I've been I mostly do that. Just upload the episodes on each platform and YouTube and Instagram,
Oh, right on.
all that fun stuff. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the same applies to Comfort and Consistency on all platforms and all streaming on all platforms and Spotify and iTunes and everything. So feel free to check it out. Guys, again, listen, let us know what you think. Follow us, because we will have new material out very shortly. We're proud of the new album. I think it's a little bit of a departure from what we were doing, but it's kind of evolving. So it's a cool, display of evolution.
Yeah, it's got a lot of the same elements, but we wanted to pick it up so that on the live shows it's just intense and fun.
Yeah.
Make
There's a lot more
people
energy.
physically move. Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to say before we go?
Yeah. Go Kansas State Wildcats.
Yeah, what he said. No, but we appreciate you having us on. We're not on too many podcasts that often, so thank you for the opportunity. It was a pleasure meeting with you and discussing the album and discussing, our goals. And go Kansas.
Thanks so much, Daniel. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. Send me that new
Take you up
music.
on that.
I would play it anytime.
Heck yeah.
Wonderful.
But yeah, I'll let you know when this is up, and I'll send you a message.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank
Do you have
you.
anything else for us that you
Um,
want us to know or the viewers to know?
Well, what do you want to know? I mean, well,
what if you could go to a show with any band, living or dead,
oh, who was
what would it be?
dead? Well, I never been to. I think I would see Michael Jackson, but I would be
Oh,
afraid
dang.
of going to his concert.
Well,
But I mean, I would like to go to Celine Dion's concerts, but never got the chance to. But that would be amazing.
That would rock.
yeah,
I mean,
that would be very, very good.
It'd probably be a massive production.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely.
yeah. Well, now I haven't. The last time I've heard that she's not doing very well, so
Oh,
hopefully
man.
she's can get back on the stage and do her thing.
Yeah.
But
Send her a message. Tell her, hey, Celine, haven't seen you yet.
Do a podcast,
Pull through.
with her. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing if I got the chance
She
to
could
do an
sing.
interview with
She
her.
can sing. Your podcast will go on. Yeah.
I mean, that would be amazing too. But yeah, people can find me anywhere on social media. Just message me, send me your music. Or I would love to do an interview with you or whoever.
Absolutely. And we thank you for the opportunity again. Yeah. Many, many thank yous.
All right. Well, it was good chatting with you guys. And
Good chatting with you too, Daniel.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I had fun too.
Okay, talk with you
So,
soon.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, sir.
Bye.